Welcome to the Dork Forest. Jackie and her pals will never bore us. Shameless confessions
about our obsession
will make us laugh and smile. So let's explore the Dork Forest and dork out for a while.
Hi, it's Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. This is a very special Dork Forest. It was the live streaming one that went over Laughster.com, and it was a who's who of people who know about monster, horror, scary movies, and it was done the night before Halloween, and we're in November now, but what the heck, right? So, enjoy this. It's going to be great. But let me do the credits first. JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, TheDorkForest.com. You can go to JackieCation.com or DorkForest.com to donate to the Dork Forest. No sponsor this month, so there's that. There's blessedly short that. Feel free to buy merch if you want. T-shirts, CDs, whatnot. If you want to donate, you get a trinket. I'm out of patches, but you'll get a sticker or a magnet or both, or whatever I have sitting around. Very lovely. And if you order something, you always get a trinket in the package as well. But let's get right into it. We're talking monster movies, scary movies, spooky movies, and three of my favorite guys. Welcome. I'm just going to start recording. This is my Amelia Earhart. This is what this is. Yeah, it's Amelia Earhart. Oh, no, I bought this.
Should I stand?
Scooche. Hello and welcome to the Dork Forest. It's a live streaming Dork Forest. Are we on? Yeah, we'll go. Guess what? It's happening. Hi, we're on web television, gentlemen. Yeah, this is a live streaming Dork Forest, thedorkforest.com. Whatever. It's all happening. And we're going to talk monsters. I'm wearing my Amelia Earhart. My name's Jackie Cation. I do the Dork Forest, and this is the first time we're doing this. I'm going to move this giant gallon of coffee so it's safe. Yes.
Yeah, it's called striking.
I'm going to strike. I'm going to strike this.
We're now filming.
That's right. Yes. Well, it's under 99. Is it the same for television as it is with the merger? Hello, and let me just tell you. Sitting to my left, Dana Gould, Matt Weinhold, Sean Sheridan, right? That's it. And, the Dana Gould Hour, and these two, Monster, which is what this is. That's it. It is exciting.
Four nerds drinking and arguing about sci-fi and horror. Can't go wrong.
The key to that show description, though, is drinking. Something tells me the last 5 minutes of the show are much more interesting than the first 5 minutes of the show.
Yeah, you would be right. There's a lot of
You're absolutely
let me
right.
tell you something about Tron.
Right. Let me tell you who Gamera is really. My dad.
Is it?
And I don't know what I'm going to do when he's dead.
You think you know.
Is it hard liquor, or is it just what are we looking at?
Sadly to say,
Yeah, it's
we're the biggest girl drinks.
girly drinks.
Biggest girl drinkers in the world.
Oh, excellent.
You have like a wine cooler?
It's a lot of
Almost.
semi-cosmos. Yeah, it's almost Sex in the City.
They'll have a box of wine.
Basically.
Okay. What you all have in common, the reason I've brought you here this evening, is because you know about monster movies, you know about horror movies, you know about scary movies, and you all enjoy them.
Yes.
Okay. I for the first time saw The Ghost of Mr. Chicken over at Matt Weinhold's house last year. Don Knotts. Don Knotts, an excellent film. And
it is an excellent film.
It's
really, really, really underrated.
I had never even heard of it.
Yeah.
He owns a 35 millimeter copy of it. 60. I don't know. It did that noise.
That, soon. That is actually Mike Scully, who ran The Simpsons for many years.
Right.
It's one of his favorite movies as well. And I was, it's really funny there. It's one of those movies that has the people that know about it. It's like Big Star in music. It's like people that know Big Star and know Big Star.
Is that a band?
Yeah.
Thank
It's
God.
an indie band.
Everybody drink. Music was brought up, and Jackie didn't know what it was.
Seminole power.
Yeah.
Seminole Power Pop Band.
The Ghost
Excellent.
of Mr. Chicken is the same way, and I
Okay.
was actually doing this is my nerd credentials, doing a movie with Bruce Campbell.
Okay, you've already won. Yeah, nobody can beat that.
But it was a TV movie. It was
Okay, a little bit lower, but
little
still
bit
Bruce
lower.
Campbell.
And we were talking.
And love.
No, she was in the other one. It was the Love Bug. She was in the Love Bug after our Love Bug. But
You were in a Love Bug?
I was in a Love Bug. Movie.
Why haven't I been following this more
I
closely?
drove Horace the Hate Bug that beat up Herbie. Oh, I get all sorts of tail.
That is amazing.
But
I don't know how many love bugs there are lying around the place.
then they started calling AIDS the Love Bug, and the whole franchise dried up.
The cosplay with the Volkswagen has got to be
It's the
brutal.
Love Bug.
Okay.
But I was talking to Bruce Campbell about like it's really hard to do horror comedy, and we were talking about the supposed what was then going to be Evil Dead 3, or Evil Dead 4, and then I just said I'll tell you there's 3 or 4 that work, and I named like Evil Dead 2, Army of Darkness, Abbott and Costello Meet Frankenstein, American Werewolf of London, and The Ghost of Mr. Chicken, and Bruce Campbell immediately just went, "Calm." You calm and murder go together? Murder and calm and murder. He knew that movie like every frame.
Yeah.
And of those movies, I have seen 2 of them. I haven't seen the others that you mentioned. I've seen the Ghost of. I've not seen the Evil Dead or the Darkness movie.
Oh, they're great. Well,
And they're
Army of Darkness
funny?
is Evil Dead 3. Yeah,
Okay.
they're hilarious.
Okay.
Evil Dead 3 especially.
Evil Dead 2 is really just Evil Dead 1 remade as a comedy.
But Evil
Yeah.
Dead 3 is almost
That's
more like a
actually true,
fantasy adventure, almost like an ode to Ray Harryhausen film.
Yes, it
too.
is.
It's
Okay.
great, yeah.
And
great.
and all 3 of them are funny, or just 2 and 3 for sure,
2 and 3 are funny. 1 is not so funny.
Yeah.
and more
Pretty
scary.
visceral, pretty, yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, then we already have 2 movies that I
Those are
can.
2 great.
Evil Dead 2 and Army of
But
Darkness
definitely,
cannot go wrong.
Cannot stress enough. Ghost of Mr. Chicken, because we've always talked about how, like, the way that you do a horror comedy well is that the horror has to be played straight.
Yeah.
And that movie does it. There's a bunch of haunted house scenes that are really terrible.
They're really scary. They scared me to death.
It scared the hell out. It scared the hell out of me 2 years ago when you showed it to
Yeah.
me, The Ghost of Mr. Chicken. I was like, that was actually scary, and there was riffing going on all around me. So,
The horror can't know it's in a comedy.
right. Okay.
That's- yeah.
Okay. And then because then it stays scary.
Right.
Excellent. All right.
The comedy comes from people reacting normally, and they always. It's amazing. You know, there's a couple of examples where it doesn't work, where they don't do it and it works and it shouldn't work. Like ostensibly Ghostbusters shouldn't work. You know,
Although there's a lot of scary stuff in
Yeah,
there,
but
too.
Slimer,
isn't. But I would argue
Slimer.
that's my least favorite
Yeah.
part of it.
and Beetlejuice
Okay.
ostensibly shouldn't work also,
Yeah.
but it
That's
does.
also more.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
think so. More
Yeah.
fantasy.
I would say Shaun of the Dead.
Shaun of the Dead
That's
works.
ridiculous.
That
Right,
was
but the
ridiculous,
zombies-
but it was
zombies are played
pretty
straight,
good.
though.
But the zombies are pretty
Yeah.
good, except the one scene in that movie that I don't like. When they have the zombie chained up in the backyard and they're throwing records at him.
Oh yeah.
Well, I didn't even understand.
Yeah.
I didn't know what that was.
That was like, we need something for the trailer.
Oh, okay.
Reason to make fun of our album.
Oh,
the zombie
hello.
was still played straight. He was still
Yeah.
scary, and if he got
Yeah.
out, he would have, you know.
That's unfortunate that your mic wouldn't be on.
Oh.
That's weird to me. Talk into it.
Am I on now?
You're on. You're on. The magic of your mic is recording.
So
But the
nothing
magic-
I've said has been heard.
Well, trade with me.
No, it's working.
It's,
Is it working
uh,
now?
Well, can you hear me now?
The David Coast podcast.
It's lower than the
You wanna
rest.
give me a little-
Okay, what
you
are
wanna
you
give me a
what are you
little
rocking?
bump?
You're rocking purple?
Full of
Hey,
games.
it's alive. I'll give you some
Stream.
game. How about now? Try now. Say
How am
something.
I doing now?
Yeah. What's your
How am I
What's your
doing now?
favorite? The scariest movie.
Is
that
it
you're-
on 11?
Is it?
Perhaps
It's-
you
it's
should
still
put it
crazy.
to 11.
All right. Well, let me.
Just kick it up.
I will kick it up. I got.
And then when it gets really high, I'll start talking softly.
How about now?
Okay, good.
All right.
All right.
We got the thumbs up.
Yeah, you saved the picture.
The kid stays in it. Yeah, so I have seen Abbott and Costello, Meet Frankenstein.
Great. Classic.
A class I haven't seen it in years though, so that holds up.
Not only does it hold up, it's one of the few black and white movies my children watch and genuinely laugh at. I mean,
Right.
like you can tell when kids fake laugh.
That and Battleship Potemkin.
they love, and Schindler's List.
A Sunday afternoon with
By the way,
Schindler's List.
the girl in Schindler's List, the female lead in Army of Darkness.
Oh, wow.
Well, I'm glad she was still working.
Yeah, she had some nice things, but no, Abbott and Costello. It's funny. They watched it and they like genuinely laughed. That was really funny.
Okay, and your kids they're not old. I mean, they're little.
They're
Right?
under 10.
They're all three of them, right?
Well, no, I have a 10-year-old now, a 9-year-old, and a 4-year-old.
4-year-old. Okay, yeah, because 4 seems, but
She didn't watch.
she didn't watch. Right, she's little. Okay.
But the other thing too about Abbott and Costello meets Frankenstein is that the performances of a lot of people don't realize is that Bela Lugosi practically never played Dracula since the first Dracula,
That's right.
Right.
and so he's back playing Dracula, and he had to fight for that.
Yeah.
And he's great.
They really didn't want him, like actively, like, no, we don't want him. It's a terrible story.
They made the
Yeah.
role.
They didn't want him in the original one. They didn't want him later. It really is like,
They throw him a bone to make him Frankenstein, and Frankenstein
Yeah.
meets the Wolfman, which
But speaking of like playing the horror straight,
Which I
that's-
like.
That's a good example because that to me, it's not an Abbott and Costello movie. It's the next chapter in the Universal Monster series that happens to have Abbott and Costello in it. That's how I see that
So
movie.
it is a monster movie.
It's really the sequel to House of Dracula,
Yeah.
right? I mean, that's
Lon
kind of
Chaney playing it so
yeah.
straight. Like,
That's why it's great. It's a Universal monster film. It happens to
straight,
have-
if not sober.
right.
right.
And
Right.
and I remember the last time I saw it, I had to be about 11 or 12, and I laughed my head off. So yeah, because I am a big Abbott and Costello fan. I have always liked them.
it never gets funnier than that. Though. Like that is
Yeah.
That they really that's at their height of their
Yeah.
of their
Right.
creativity.
Well, I was never
They are great from a comedy perspective because they're really, they're the best practitioners of that sweaty setup. They're really music hall vaudeville kind of.
right.
Like the really funny scene where the candle keeps moving on Dracula's coffin.
Right.
And just the exits and the entrance and Bud Abbott is so underrated and wonderful. You're telling me you saw Dracula. Like the setups are so beautiful. And somebody was telling me that they had a television show, a half-hour television show in the 50s. And they would do sketches, and one sketch they walk out with a ladder, and Bud Abbott just goes, "Well, here we are, window washers."
Nice setup. I like the setup on that. That's crazy. Okay, so are we still doing good with the video? How's the video going? Is everybody watching? Is it exciting?
Your mic is low now.
Oh, now his mic is low now. And wait, you're also
Testing.
all right. Well, I don't approve. I don't approve of whatever's happening there.
This is just like Conjuring.
Oh, did you guys see that?
I have not seen that yet. I
Is
have
that
to
worth
see
seeing?
It's got some great scary moments in the beginning. It's when you start seeing the demon witch lady, that's when it starts to go downhill. And it's
Yep.
also this.
That always happens.
It's also this big sort of propaganda piece for the Warrens, who are these demonologists.
So-called real life
demonologists
couple.
who have written books, and
Right.
and in the movie they even say, we could just write books, but our mission is more important than that. And I'm thinking, wow, you sure seem to have a lot of books out then. Wow.
We just went to the Griffith Park Haunted Hayride, and they had a ghost chaser like giving a little speech, and it's truly fascinating. I wish it was. I hope it's true because I want that.
Yeah,
I really do.
It's a ghost, but me.
I want that job. Yeah, I know.
Right.
He had the best bit about it. You never see a ghost in the park playing frisbee. Boo! How about if a ghost if a ghost didn't have an agenda, if it was just in your house, and
Right.
would it be like, boo? Like not really, not just boo.
One of my favorite dork forests happened in this very living room. Jen Kirkman, Karen Rontowski, big ghost hunter, seen a lot of ghosts in her life, knows a lot about ghosts. I'm afraid of ghosts. And she said, well, I have this app on my iPhone called Ghost Radar. You're afraid of ghosts. You wouldn't want me to open it up here because then you'd find out if there were ghosts here. And I said, oh no, $1.99 app. Go for it.
Yeah.
And there was a ghost standing right behind Jen Kirkman, because it's a radar. Boop, boop. It's that kind of thing, right? And then the app says a word, and it said sweater. And Jen Kirkman went, "Oh my God, I have a red sweater in my car."
Well, that means it's true.
That's
That
proof,
means it's
obviously.
That's a
Clearly,
$1.99.
the Ghost
well
Finder
spent.
app is also the same as the Pancake Finder app.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
There's an IHOP
Jesus in my cereal.
very close to you.
Look, that's the thing too. Is it like the more you sort of look at it, the more like ghosts wearing clothes. Where do they get the clothes? There's no ghost store. There's no,
If you're in the Ku Klux Klan and you die and come back as a ghost,
My secret.
do you wear two sheets? Is it a sheet
One
over a
too
sheet?
many holes in them,
true.
like
Yeah.
Charlie Brown.
very redundant.
Or is it like, what do they do on Halloween? Do they put a costume on over the sheet? Are you like a pirate? Like, does he put a pirate hat on over the sheet?
Are there hipster ghosts that make fun of the old timey ghosts?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Hey, nice sheet.
Yeah.
Nice sheet, Grandpa.
A ghost in a fedora.
I was in ectoplasm before anybody.
Hey, so are any of these monster movies scary? This is in one of these. I'm supposed to have. I'm supposed to give away.
that
There's
up, Dad.
there's three
Were you
prizes,
at?
right?
Were you?
So-
Adorable.
This isn't it.
Do you like a Segway?
You bought this at a truck stop, right?
I think that was handed
gas
to me.
station.
That at you on the freeway.
Okay,
This
well that's
bag is full of things. It should be called. Could you throw these things out for me?
this is Gamera on the cover, who's of course a
Great.
giant flying turtle who has fire come out of his portals, but is a friend of all children.
Camera is a friend of all children.
Yeah,
He's a turtle.
The Japanese clearly have not gotten over being
yeah.
atomically bombed.
Interesting. There's a movie here called Bride
Will
of the.
they get over it?
I know,
Yeah.
really.
There was a roommate here called Bride of the Gorilla, starring Raymond Burr.
Oh, yes.
Ironically, his roommate was the Bride of the Bear.
Is that a joke?
Come on,
Did you get it? Will you-
That's kind of a gay.
Inside
Oh, is it
baseball.
a gay joke? Okay, I get it.
Raymond was a little what we'd call minty.
Got out of
Creepy
that wheelchair. Oh, dirty rats.
Well, Santa Claus Conquers the Martians is terrifying.
That's pretty scary.
Is that scary?
In a
There's
bad,
a-
It's just
camp
kind
way.
of creepy, right?
I don't really recognize
it's weird.
any of these.
Well, that's too bad.
Let's get our.
Well, the Wasp Woman.
Which
It's,
this is gonna throw you off a little bit.
There's these are the scary movies. The Gathering. The Gathering. That's a scary movie. That's in the grab bag.
Yeah, that was.
I don't know if it's one of those
Yeah,
actual
this
horror
is
movies
kind
that
of
I've seen in quite a
okay.
while.
Let's see,
Says
we got
Frederick
here. Snow
Nordstrom
Beast, TV movie.
from Macy's.
Who's in this?
I don't know.
Oh, that is Christina Ricci.
Okay.
Wow, I don't know if
The
I've seen that one.
Prestige. That's magical. Is it?
Well, that stars Andy Serkis, right?
That's not.
Isn't that the worst Halloween movie?
Well, that's because
This is sort of
I don't know
like
anything about Halloween.
well, this is like the Vampire Show when they didn't have rights to horror movies. So like tonight it is the third man
Oh, I have the third. Is that a scary movie?
with 6 you get egg
This
rolls.
was scary, wasn't it? Pirates of the Caribbean. Wasn't that terrifying?
It was scary.
Kind of
It's,
a monster sort of.
Yeah.
Is that
I
the
don't
first
know.
one?
It's. I think it is.
That's
Yeah.
actually a good movie.
The Curse of the Black Pearl. It's the third one. It is
Oh,
not.
it's a
Curse. There's a curse in there.
I am so sorry. What movie should I go out and
I'll watch
for this?
Jeffrey Rush. I'll watch
I'll go
Jeffrey
out
Rush.
Two.
Zapped to what? No, I will. I promise to go out and buy an actual decent horror movie. What's the best horror movie that is scary and funny that I should buy?
Scary and funny.
Yeah, should I get
Well,
that
we named
bud?
a couple.
Yeah, I should do that Abbott and
You should-
Costello.
No, you should. Well, if but you know that movie. What you
I
should
do know
is
that
you should
movie.
get those the Evil Dead 2 and 3.
Okay.
Yeah, Evil
okay.
Dead's a good
That's a good
start.
place to start.
Yep.
Okay.
You've seen Shaun of the Dead.
I own Shaun of the Dead. That
Shaun
was
of
a
the
good
Dead.
Great one, yeah.
That's a good one.
American Werewolf in London. You cannot go wrong.
Oh, I've never seen that either. And
That
is that
movie's-
scary too?
That is really a flawless movie.
Yeah.
That movie is fantastic.
It's a perfect balance of comedy and horror.
Is it the
actually.
Shawshank Redemption of horror movies?
It
There's
is.
not a bad scene
Kind
in
of,
it.
yeah.
There's not a bad scene in it.
All right.
Especially the ones with Jenny Agutter.
Yeah,
Is she all pretty?
Oh,
Does she get
very
noodly?
pretty.
she does.
She
Yeah,
likes to shower.
yeah.
Yes, a lot.
To shower.
Wait,
Yeah.
horror movies love to have people.
Just think if you're
Ghost went off.
Ghosts.
if you're Jenny Agutter and you shower with a dude, there's no doubt you're gonna get clean. They're just gonna soap up
Inside
everything.
and out,
Yeah.
and yeah.
I gotta get
So
some soap
yeah,
on
so there'll
that.
be an actual horror movie in this third place horror movie theme
The
mystery grab
Prestige
bag,
2.
and then
I got Last Exit to Brooklyn. Oh, horror movie.
And then there's going to be a horror movie themed Vine, and signed Dork Forest t-shirt is the second place one, and first place will be a 10-minute private podcast with me where you can dork out with me and I'll record it and then I'll put it up. What the heck?
Wow.
I don't have a problem. No question. Yeah. And if your dorkdom is hate, you will be disqualified. So there you go. That's
I love your Halloween decorations. You can swing around there.
Yeah. I don't know. Can you? Can you?
Do you get trick-or-treaters out here?
We get 200 kids a year.
Oh, my God. That's great.
It is. Andy keeps a spreadsheet. He's out of his mind a little bit. This is one of his favorite holidays. Did you see our decorations in front?
I did. I love it. That's how I know it's your house.
Yeah, we have a giant we have a jumping cat, an inflatable cat because
those weren't the ghosts that Karen Rotowski saw.
those might have been the ghosts that Karen Rotowski saw, and and then and we always give away like crap like this instead of instead of
loved some variety like that.
I would like to thank, and I only did this one year and I did it against my will. We normally go trick or treating here in the San Fernando Valley, and for those of you watching, we are coming to you from deep in the San Fernando Valley.
Oh, we're in Van Nuys, ladies and gentlemen.
Deep in the bowels of the
This is the lamest thing we're giving out this year. This is a bookmark, and
Frankenstein bookmark.
And no one will not be disappointed to receive a bookmark from.
That's kind of
but
cute.
it's adorable, right? Yeah. We have there's these ones and which
I would eat it anyway as a child.
And then we have tiny grave erasers.
Oh, nice. I like
and,
that.
This is also going to be eaten.
And then we have fang whistles.
Those are
cool.
Fang whistles. that kids
Mom and Dad will be so happy their kid got a whistle.
Right. Who doesn't like that?
Real vampires.
And then I think we have fang gummy bears or whatever.
Wow.
That's the only food particle that
pretty
we give
good.
out.
One year we went trick-or-treating in Beverly Hills, in the real ritzy part of Beverly Hills, because my daughter was at a party there, school party, and we said, well, let's go trick-or-treating here. And it was, it took you 10 minutes to go from house to house because all the yards are the size of, every house is a four.
houses.
Yeah, every house is a Four Seasons.
Was it higher level of quality of candy?
No, actually, one family in particular gave out healthy snacks.
Oh my
I was like,
gosh!
thank you for missing the point of Halloween.
Yeah, really.
Thank you for ruining everything.
Totally.
Have a bottle of Green Machine.
Yeah, it was that and Nature Valley granola bars. Just granola bars, I'm not lying. And the housekeeper was giving out the candy. Hello.
Oh no,
Mr. William cannot be here to give out the candy. I was like,
I hate them.
He's
I
trying
hate
to
them.
stop your health care.
yeah, it's very busy.
Remember, like when we were little kids, the people sometimes leave out an entire bowl of candy.
Yeah, then one
they left for the weekend, and then you would just go
one
and
kid takes
nobody
the
does that
ball.
anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
If you were lucky.
I just read a blah blah blah. Okay, so I read a thing today that some woman in North Dakota is planning out giving out pieces of paper that says that your kid's fat and that they're not going to get any. They're not going to get any candy.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, right. I think she's going to judge when the children come up. They're like,
Wow.
you got this note because your kid's fat.
That's charming.
You got this note because your kid's
So
fat.
Halloween happens to land on Hate Day.
Yeah.
Right. Why? What?
Wow.
Don't just hide in the dark like Christians. That's what people do. You turn off your lights and you don't answer.
Right.
Yeah.
That's it. That's all we need. That's all I'm asking for.
That's pretty bad.
Why?
It is. That's the craziest thing.
Isn't that insane?
Yeah, Halloween is really as in the past. I would say 20 years. I don't really know what it is that has made it so. Well, it's probably they realize they can sell a lot of stuff. It's second only to Christmas in terms of the economics of
the
it.
Merch.
Just they sell so much stuff.
Only on Thanksgiving you can only sell.
But when did it really start where it became a monthly thing? Like, it never used to be like that. Like, it's now it starts October 1st. Like,
I see stuff up in August.
Yeah.
It starts in
when did
September.
that happen? Like, that didn't always, was not always the case. you know?
That's like past, I guess, 20 years, but it was, I don't know. And there's also, I find this interesting that there's two Halloweens. There's kid Halloween,
Yeah.
and then there's gay Halloween.
Is there gay Halloween?
There is gay Halloween. Like
gay.
if you go to West Hollywood or
Oh my
Greenwich
gosh,
Village,
yeah.
Okay.
they'll have a costume, and that's more like
Then
it's
there's
not
a million because there's also drunk Halloween, right?
There's drunk Halloween.
There's
Yeah,
drunk
you're right.
adult
There's
Halloween.
many Halloweens, but in like West Hollywood, they have a big costume parade. Greenwich Village, they have a big costume parade.
Yeah.
It's great. Everybody's having a great time. Everybody's in costume. It has nothing to do with what kids are doing.
Right.
Right.
You know, just on the other side of the hill, but it's still a Halloween celebration.
Right.
It's just make your own fun.
Make it.
Yeah,
kind of party, big party.
Halloween is gay Halloween. I think
Yeah, probably.
Probably.
The difference is in North Hollywood, the kids come in the front door.
All right. Huh?
You.
Come on. DanaGould.com, everyone. DanaGould.com. And it's
That's how you do it, everybody.
what scary movies should I not see? What's your favorite
that terrify
most
you,
terrifying movie?
that would disturb you?
That are that scary.
I mean,
Yeah.
the original Exorcist. Have you ever seen that?
Oh, I
mean,
accidentally saw The Omen once.
that was pretty
horrifying.
scary.
Nothing scares me. Movies don't scare me, but I would say, and Matt and I will disagree on this. You know exactly what I'm going to say.
Throw down.
No one needs to see The Human Centipede.
The Human Centipede.
Yeah.
That's a monster movie.
But have you seen it?
Clearly not.
Oh,
As she has chocolate on the
And
table.
how can you say that?
I've seen it too, and I agree with Matt. It's a funny movie.
It's a funny
It's
movie.
a
Why don't you
funny
tell
movie.
Darkly.
Tell all the kids
It's
here
Tell
it's
the
a
people.
what it's about.
dark.
It's about Sean.
It's a mad scientist whose dream is to build a human centipede, attaching people by ass to mouth and creating a living centipede. But it's done. First of all, it's not nearly as graphic and
As that
sick
sentence.
as people say it
The
is.
most tastefully done human centipede
It is. It really is.
ever.
And
Mouth.
what makes the movie though is the guy who plays the scientist, who is hilarious.
Crazy
He's
German.
crazy German scientist, and he
Full accent.
takes his
Chewing up the cinema.
takes his job very seriously.
Played by Jodie Foster.
She is amazing.
But
She can do anything.
but it's pretty fun. I've not seen the second one, which I hear is very different.
Why
It's
wouldn't there be
very
a second
overly
one?
graphic, and I'm not that I
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
want to see. But the first one is crazy.
I mean, you have to be in the right mood for it. But yeah,
it's
it's
weird, but-
it's
Maybe
twisted.
it's just me, but maybe it's just me.
But that is, was
I
terrifying.
check out at poop. And in any
Right, bodily functions.
Yeah, I just
they,
poop.
they had me at poop.
I check out at poop. Even Jurassic Park and the big pile of Triceratops poop.
I don't care for that.
Yeah.
No, that's not what I'm looking for
I
in a
don't- yeah.
dinosaur movie.
Yeah.
But you never see. It's not like there's a close up of like a girl. Like you don't get to see
No,
like an
no.
internal shot of her going.
It's all suggested. It's wonderfully
I'm going to
suggested.
throw up. That sort of act.
the whole
It's all
idea.
suggested.
Yeah. I mean, you don't see it. You don't know.
But why?
there's no
why does he
sounds,
want
like-
to?
Yeah.
It's
It's not in smell-o-vision
double.
or
I
anything.
would call it double plus ungood.
Why? But why? What was the reason for the research? What was the reason to make a giant human?
He's crazy.
he's out of his mind.
He's crazy. Yeah.
So what he wants, he likes the idea of a conga line.
yeah, basically.
Exactly right.
Surgically-
Right. Yeah. He tries with the dog first.
And then the
Right.
dog. He. There's like a.
There will be
It is a corporophagic conga line. That's exactly what it is.
Well, I'm glad you put it medically.
If one dog is great, then two more will be better.
Oh
My
Just
friend,
like friends.
Liz Winstead, if you know Liz Winstead, her dog was
Friend of the show.
a ravenous corporophage, and she would walk him in New York, and she'd be like, no. It was like the thing, just like, oh God, I love it. Oh, it was just like so. It was just
It's insane.
yeah, that's a horrible thing. Why God?
But I mean, if you want to look at the other end of the spectrum, like
Yeah.
nothing graphic, like kind of classic, just movies that are all suggestion and paranoia, something like
Right.
Rosemary's Baby, is a very, very frightening, disturbing movie without
Is
showing
that
you
one
anything.
religious?
It's a religious.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Is that one
Yeah.
like possessed by the devil?
Antichrist.
But it's
Oh, the
it's
Antichrist
a
again?
paranoid movie. It's a very it's
You're gonna get borned. The Antichrist gets borned.
well, she in the movie.
What are you, the Bowery Boys? What's happening?
In the movie, Mia Farrow has the devil's baby, and then years later, she also had the devil's baby. But now she says it's Frank
He actually
Sinatra's.
prefers the devil to Woody Allen.
Yeah.
What? So are there ones? Because the religious ones are actually kind of fascinating to me because, I was raised relatively religious, so I'm sort of drawn to that. Are there ones that are just the stabby ones? Is there a favorite stabby one?
stabby.
Halloween is.
Oh, the original
Halloween.
Halloween's
Oh, I saw Halloween 3 accidentally.
Season of the Witch.
Probably.
Different movie.
Probably.
Yeah.
Different kind of movie.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
go. You see the original Halloween. That is a.
No, it's
Absolute
great.
classic.
That is.
That's
a
the best.
good
And
classic.
Psycho.
Psycho.
And Psycho is phenomenal.
Right.
Yeah.
Those are
The
the
remake, the shot-for-shot remake. Of
Not under any circumstances.
See the Hitchcock one. Don't.
Psycho 4, the beginning,
black
I
and
think,
white.
is great.
Well, when will it be
So we dropped the
colorized?
ball.
The original Psycho is also flawless.
Yeah, it
you
really
know,
is.
The backlot tour of Universal, when they take you by the Bates Motel now, they have a guy,
Yes.
an actor who comes out.
Yeah.
He's
Oh,
always
that's
great,
awesome.
too.
Yeah.
He nailed it. He was.
That's not the original house, and that's not where it was.
Oh no, they just rebuilt it
Right,
as
that's not
set.
part of it. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Tony Perkins.
But people forget, like, nobody wanted Hitchcock to make that movie.
Oh, no?
He basically had to fund it himself.
And he used all the crew and
He
crew
used
of like
the crew of
the
the
show.
television show, yeah.
Right.
And,
But really low budget.
Really,
Oh,
That's,
really?
yeah, that's why it's black and white. And nobody wanted him to
What
make
year? What year was
62
that? Okay.
Yeah.
or 61.
Really early 60, even 60 maybe. No, 61, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
61. and
And-
his television show was on at the time. And I don't know what inspired him to make it. I think that he had I might be incorrect, but he had made Vertigo, and it was now regarded as his pièce de résistance, but at the time it was a giant flop.
Right.
And he spent a lot of money on it. And I might be wrong, but I think Psycho might have been the film right after it.
I think you're right.
And he just wanted to sort of go in the opposite direction of what he had done.
But in a sense, like the stuff that he does with Vertigo, which kind of sort of opened up that psychosexual thing that he loves so much even more. Then he takes it into Psycho and just twists it on its ear.
Yeah.
Right.
And there's a lot of firsts in the movie Psycho. First shot of a flushing toilet in a motion picture.
Wow.
And it's the movie where they kill the star of the movie 20 minutes into the movie. I mean, Janet Leigh was a giant star at the time. And she was the star of the movie. And then 20 minutes in, she gets murdered. And you're like,
Is
what
the
the heck is happening?
Is the movie a murder mystery? Is it the cop who comes in to solve?
It's more psychological
You know what's
horror.
going
What's
on.
going on? Yeah.
Yeah.
Right, because you see the murder in
Yeah.
those first 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Right.
So you know who the bad guy is. Do you
It's
wait?
more like a Columbo.
Well, it is. You know what? It is
One more question before I
Yeah.
just what?
Mr. Bates.
Emily's doing a very human centipede-esque sort of thing. Right?
Oh, what's happening? Sean's mic is still very low. Sean is very low. Is it turned on?
Can you hear me good right here?
How about now?
That
is sad.
I know it's kind of under
unfortunate.
people's.
And,
is it kind of?
Give me this one.
But you don't know it's Norman right away. Murder mystery.
Yes, that's true.
Simon Oakland comes in the end and tells everybody what happened. Yeah, and then,
And then
yells at Darren McGavin.
yeah, and then hires Columbo.
But the whole idea of the split personality and the person dressing up as like that's so cliche now. That's so cliched now. I mean, it's become so cliche. But that was like that must have blown people away back then when they saw that.
It's,
it's
really
like
just a better version of Glenn or Glenda.
yeah, really.
You know what?
This
Them
is
fighting
Glenn.
words.
This is
You
Glenn.
can't get better than that.
And he wears the clothes that make him comfortable.
Oh my God. I finally figured out what's wrong with all the audios. It turns out there's a board, and then when you turn different knobs, different things happen. So one of his knobs was turned all the way down. It was dumb.
How are we doing now,
It's a good
sound-wise?
story. It's a really good story.
Good
I'm gonna tell
story.
it again.
Scary story.
Okay,
That
so
ghost hanging out over there at the board.
now we got psychological thrillers, right? We got or Stabby. We did Stabby.
A great vampire movie?
Yeah.
The 1972 TV movie The Night Stalker.
Oh yes.
Great
Was
vampire
that
movie.
the original Night Stalker?
Yeah.
Based
Darren
on the
McGavin?
Erons?
No.
No.
It's based on Erons. I just had Michelle McNamara on the show, and she wouldn't talk about anything but the Erons killer, which is an acronym that stands for East Area Rapist.
Is that the guy up north
original
that
Night
she's-
Stalker.
That she's still chasing?
She's still chasing. She's going to find that guy. He's going to be in his late 70s.
Yeah.
And she's be like, I'm finally going to put you
Our
away.
friend is married to Van Helsing.
Right. She is a Van Helsing. Right. Because she's Patton's wife. She is. So Night Stalker is not that guy.
No, it's a vampire movie. It was made for TV movie in 1972.
Okay.
Actually,
Sort of a pilot of sorts.
Yeah.
I don't think it was really meant to be.
Well, it's not meant to be a pilot.
There's a second TV movie before
Yeah.
they made the series.
They just plopped it on one night, and it was the highest rated TV movie of all time.
yeah.
Up to that
About
point.
that, huh?
Kind of modern day
Really-
vampire
Oh,
in Las
really?
Vegas.
Yeah.
And a guy who's a reporter who's sort of quirky and funny who ends up stumbling upon this story and finds out that vampires are real.
Yeah. And it is great because it's one of the few of the time. I mean, now it's a trope, but at the time, people were like, there's no such thing as vampires, Carl.
Yeah.
You're just trying to make a story because you're in trouble.
Is his name Carl?
His name is Carl
Carl
Kolchak.
Oh, that's awesome.
Great
We all
character.
have action figures of him.
Of course
Yes.
you do.
We
Yeah.
All
do.
three of us.
Yes,
yes,
we do.
ladies.
Yes.
I wanted to be, and it was a TV show in the mid '70s, and I wanted to be a reporter as a child because of Carl
Oh my God.
Kolchak.
My favorite show growing up. Absolutely.
Yeah, it was
The
great.
Night
I could not
Yeah.
wait till
Yeah, it was
Friday
great.
night.
TV
Friday
show.
nights, 10 o'clock, CBS.
And funny, odd story, not really relevant to anything, but Vampira
Yeah.
is buried right in front of Darren McGavin,
Oh wow.
literally chasing her through eternity.
Wow.
So Night Stalker's the movie, though. It was a made-for-TV movie,
Yeah.
and that's a great vampire
And
movie.
there's
Right.
a lot, speaking of TV movies, there's a lot of really, people don't realize how many really effective horror
Scary
movies
TV
that were made
movies.
for TV. Like there was,
Trilogy of
Toro.
Trilogy of Terror is.
Well, Trilogy of Terror
Fantastic.
with Karen Black, where there's like a little African doll that's chasing around the house.
Oh, dolls. Yeah.
that scared the
Very scary.
That
It
scared
looks
the
scary.
hell out of me as a kid.
Ferocious little thing
Don't go
running
in the
around.
basement. Was there one called
Don't
Don't
look in
Go
the
in the
basement.
Basement?
Don't look in the
no,
basement.
Don't be afraid of the
Don't
dark.
be afraid of the dark.
But there's also Don't Go in the Basement or something.
Yes,
But
there
that's
is.
a movie.
Or is that about a
That's a movie.
That's a water heater safety film.
Yes. Which is just a
I
scary.
would watch that.
This thing has to be secured to a load-bearing beam.
It's just your dad. But yeah, the original Don't Be Afraid of the Dark is so great.
Yeah,
and
really
it's
good.
so low budget. It's with Kim
Right.
Darby and
Jim Hutton.
I love Guillermo del Toro, but like you look at that movie and it's just too much.
Yeah, as soon as you see these like perfectly created CGI creatures, it takes
CGI
it
just
away.
takes you right
It just
out of it.
takes it. You know,
Okay.
yeah,
CGI has ruined more movies than it's
it
helped.
really
hasn't it?
has. It really has.
Really?
Yeah, I'll tell you one. I Am Legend.
Oh, I couldn't even get through that. I don't.
Tom Cruise?
Will Smith.
Same thing.
Will Smith.
I'm thinking of Legend. I'll be over here traveling
else.
in the
Right,
90s.
Not quite so scary.
Yeah.
And didn't he have bad teeth? That was terrifying.
Yeah,
And
no,
so
Yeah.
bad.
I Am Legend
Gingivitis.
with Will Smith. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was a remake, wasn't it?
Terrible.
Remake
yeah.
of a remake of a remake. They
Yeah,
did several
terrible,
versions of
terrible
that.
CGI
Yeah, there's
creatures
one-
that didn't need to be CGI. They were human beings.
Why?
There's one movie that's probably the closest
Right.
to that we're probably ever going to get of like the spirit of the original.
Just say
novel.
based on was a novel or a short
Yeah,
story.
it was
Based
by
on a novel by
Matheson.
Richard Matheson called
I Am Legend, and the movie was called Last Man on Earth,
Okay.
with starring Vincent Price,
Oh.
and yeah,
as the hero,
as the hero, as
Right.
the action, hero.
as the action hero. Yeah,
Vincent Price action hero.
Vincent Price
Kind of a
action
lot
hero.
like Night of the Living Dead, actually.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Before Night of the Living Dead.
A
Yeah.
lot of scenes of like these because the vampires kind of are slow moving and they're very much like zombies.
Yeah.
Okay.
And they're always yelling at him, and he's called his name.
Stop yelling at me.
Yeah.
Yeah, let us in, Morgan.
Yeah, he's not Neville in that movie. He's Morgan.
he's Morgan.
And then it was remade as the Omega Man with
The
Charlton
mod
Heston.
70s version.
Yeah, which is really more of an action movie than
Right.
a zombie.
Well, it is the only blaxploitation zombie movie ever made.
That's not true.
Sugar Hill.
Sugar Hill.
Great,
What's that?
Great blaxploitation
Yeah,
film.
with Robert Quarry and
Oh, that's going to be in
Yeah.
the notes.
Let me finish. Called the Omega Man. Starring Charlton Heston and Rosalind Cash.
Oh, okay. You're right.
Anthony Zerbe.
And, yeah, are there any terrifying? You know how they always say when black people go to the movies, they're like, "Don't go to the basement, don't look around. Why are you following that guy into the woods?" And are there
the swimming pool.
Yeah. They don't go to Woody Allen movies. She's just being afraid of commitment because her mother divorced her father in the 40s.
I want to grow up and be that joke. That's an awesome joke. But do black people get to be in good scary movies? I don't know anything of that. I haven't seen
sure.
any of that.
Sure, of
The
course.
original Dawn of the Dead.
What? Sure.
Ken Foree.
That's right.
Roots
Okay.
is scary.
Roots is scary.
Roots is terrifying. 12
Yeah,
Years
yeah.
a Slave. I won't see that.
Yeah, that
12 Years a
stuff
Slave
freaks me out.
scares the shit out of me.
Yes, no, Bordello of Blood. No, I'm kidding.
Is Bordello of Blood not good?
No, I've never seen it.
Oh,
Yeah, no, there's who's that guy that's in John Carpenter's The Thing, one of the greatest
Keith
scary movies
David?
of all
Yeah, he
time.
was also in
They Live.
He's in They Live. He's
The
in
Thing.
Repo Man.
which, by the
Yeah.
way, now that we've brought up John Carpenter's The Thing,
yeah.
probably in my top 10 favorite horror movies.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
What is the thing?
Oh Lord!
I have not. Wait, is that
Oh
the
my
elevator
God.
thing where he oozes out? Or
No,
is
Just
there-
see
Bob.
it.
That's the
Just see it.
Just
John,
the thing.
Kurt Russell, John
Kurt Russell?
Carpenter's The Thing from
I love Kurt Russell.
1982.
Yeah.
So
Fantastic.
good.
So good.
It could be released
Scary?
now.
Yeah, can we release today?
One of the last hurrahs of practical makeup effects that you'll see, because
Yeah.
like after that, like things started changing. It was CGI started coming in. It's all like elaborate.
Okay.
Yeah.
It'll
And
make
it's
you,
creature
it'll make
effects.
You go, why aren't we doing this now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
it's
Okay.
amazing.
What's amazing is it came out in the summer of 1982, and it came out 2 weeks after E.T.
Mhm.
And people's like, "No, aliens are nice. We hate this movie."
Yeah.
And that's really
quite
what
an
killed it.
ending, too. Yeah.
Yeah, and it, had
Yeah,
been- and it had a nihilistic ending, and it was right at the height of like the optimism of the Reagan era, and nobody wanted to see it. It's a very 70s movie for
No
1982.
women in the film.
women.
All guys
All
stuck
guys.
in the Arctic by
Did
themselves.
Tolkien write it? Who thank you.
But ironically,
Thank you.
it ages much better than E.T.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
I
I
mean,
can't even watch E.T.
Yeah, E.T. is
I
very-
enjoyed
Hold
it
up.
when I was-
E.T. does
Yeah.
not hold up. It does not hold up.
It doesn't.
I agree.
And I loved it. I
Yeah,
saw
too.
it probably
You,
six or
you
seven
really see
times
the strings of that movie
in
like,
the theater.
Yeah.
Yeah, all
You see
over
the other
place.
manipulation of the
Yes.
it doesn't ring true anymore. Like it feels
No.
But
too
the thing
saccharine
holds
and
up.
too.
Yes.
Yeah.
Have you seen it in the last couple of years? The Thing.
Yes, I watched it.
We watch,
I watch it every year.
night.
6
Every night.
Yeah,
I watch it.
Okay.
No, I do too. It's one of those movies that
Yeah.
you just
Okay.
put on and watch.
Oh, that's and
Great
so
Halloween
good.
film. Great film to watch for Halloween.
Okay, and
If I
and
was going to recommend one for you, it'd be that.
okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay, all right. Well, I'm
And it's
Don't-
science fiction too. You
Don't
get
see
both.
the don't see the quasi sequel that came out last
Prequel.
year
No.
No.
Oh, really?
with Mary Winstead. Is that who it was? Don't see it.
Okay,
Terrible.
Just pointless.
Pointless, yeah.
No
Yeah.
reason to make it. It was no reason to make it.
because there is no follow up.
Well, in the way that Evil Dead 2 is a remake of Evil Dead 1 as a comedy, The Thing from last year was a remake of John Carpenter's The Thing is a bad movie.
Yeah.
okay,
Yeah.
yeah.
Do
But what
whatever
was
it's
interesting
wrong.
was
Weird.
The Thing, last year's The Thing was a remake of the movie The Thing, which was a remake of another movie called The Thing
Oof.
that's about a monster that can reproduce itself
Okay.
Based
Well,
on
just
true
the
story.
nodding. Just the
Who
nodding.
goes there?
by John Cable.
But-
All right. So what about blob
good
like
ride, though.
movies?
A really good
Are there good
Halloween
blob
medicine.
Blob movies?
Yeah.
Yeah. The original Blob is a great. I'd say not really,
I like the
not
remake, actually.
scary. I
And
actually
the-
did too,
the-
actually. But the original is kind of more campy now. It's more like like teenagers see an alien and the
The Clumps is a good blob movie.
Is there a movie called The Clumps?
Yeah, it's the Nutty Professor too. The Eddie
Oh,
Murphy.
because our neighbors were the Clumps.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Mr. and Mrs. Clump had their son,
Oh, wow.
and John Clump used to play basketball, and my dad would always go Clump, 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 because it was hilarious at the
I'm
time.
sure he loved it.
Okay, it was a good one.
This was shortly
And then
before he
on the
killed
other
himself,
side,
right?
Mr.
Exactly.
Mogg. We had Mr. Mogg on one side, Mr.
Oh, wow.
Clump on the other side, and the Shablowskis across the street.
Wow.
Really fit in.
great
We had the
names.
Andersons, the Papineaus, and the Martin. I just thought this is apropos of nothing. I lived in the greatest Halloween neighborhood on earth.
Growing up?
Yeah, I lived. It's the reason I actually have a hard time watching The Great Pumpkin.
Oh, I
because-
just tried to watch it. That Lucy Van Pelt is an asshole.
they're all assholes.
Every year.
They're all assholes.
Terrible.
All the parents in the neighborhood not only ganged up on one kid. Let's just give this one kid rocks for no reason.
Rocks?
And then they let the other kid fall asleep in a field.
Right,
And
waiting
his
for
little lesbian sister has to go out and find him. But it's imagine how painful it would be to be a ghost, go back and look at and watch yourself as a child
Right.
in that world. It's so evocative of where I grew up. That special. It looks exactly like where I grew up. The skies look. I grew up in
The
Massachusetts.
color. colors and everything.
I grew up in a little town, and I lived on Cemetery Street, which was the street that ended at the town cemetery.
I don't live on Cemetery Street.
No wonder.
And it was just this greatest thing. But I was literally like in my car in traffic, and just like this memory like jagged loose, like a dime falling out of a crack in the wall. Our neighbor was this guy, Henry Martin. And Henry Martin.
Oh, he sounds evil.
He was not evil. He would sit on his screened-in porch and read the paper every day, and he would ignore us. And we would like run around his house, and he would just ignore us. And one day, there was about 8 of us. There was a big baby boom of kids. We were have I told you this story? We were lined up in front of his house, 20 feet from him. We're all like 9, 10, 11 years old, singing, "Hey, Mr. Martin, quit your smelly farting, yeah." And like really, and he didn't flinch.
Later went on to be a huge hit.
Yeah, but
The
Crosby,
8-piece
Stills, and Nash.
a cappella group of young men.
But I'm still very good friends with one of my childhood friends,
Right.
who was in that group, and I emailed it to him, and he just said, "Oh my God, I have to email you back. I have to deal with this in my mind for a minute." Like I really threw him.
Mr. Mogg used to do paint by numbers right next door to us, and he would have an easel set up and a beret and
God love
a
him.
6-pack of
And a yard full of children's bones.
and right. Well, and he always yelled at the birds, and then he cut that tree down and put up a bird bath. He was a complicated man, Mr. Mogg.
You had me at he always yelled at the birds.
He always yelled at the birds.
Birds in the clouds.
Birds in
Always
the
yelling
clouds.
at the birds.
Well, we had the drugged out family on one side, and then we had the insane Vietnam vet on the other side. Who,
Oh, yeah.
When I would walk around the neighborhood with my pogo stick, he'd make me get on it and jump up and down, and then he'd start dancing.
Yo!
God.
I'm like, I think I'm in the Hills High Fives right now.
Was that in the city of San Francisco? Or
In San Francisco, yes, on Warren Drive.
Wow.
How about
as good as
yourself,
Cemetery.
Sean? Who were you surrounded
No, it's
by?
kind of pretty normal neighborhood. I mean, I remember like the coolest thing was the year I got to trick or treat by myself. You know, like you didn't have to go with your parents.
Yep.
You can
4
start.
years later.
Yeah, and you got to just kind of like do the adventure on your own and your friends. That was the cool thing.
What was
But
your
no, we
favorite
had
costume? Did you have a favorite costume?
Spider-Man probably was one of my favorite ones. Definitely.
right.
I have a
The,
favorite
the
costume.
Ben
of-
Cooper Spider-Man mask, right? Yeah, that was
Sure.
definitely.
Ben Cooper. Did you do the Ben Cooper costumes? You know
Oh,
what I'm
is
talking
that the
about?
plastic face?
Yeah, the
Yeah.
plastic
Yep.
with the little...
Yeah.
And an
Picture
and
of
a,
the character
bib.
on
Yeah.
your
Yeah,
Yeah.
chest.
Not my
Yeah.
costume, but a picture of the
yeah,
character.
there was a bib with the character on it. So you didn't go as Casper.
Right.
You went as somebody who really liked Casper.
Right. Which even as a little kid, you thought didn't work. Like you
Doesn't
wanted
make
the
sense.
actual
Really?
suit
Yeah.
that
yeah,
was
it does
Casper.
not work. Does not
Yeah.
work.
Yeah, you're dressed as Spider-Man's van.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
It's, never, that was never cool. I actually, I've never watched scary movies, but I read scary comic books, actually. And so I forgot to,
Yeah, what do you got?
hang on.
I think my favorite costume, I always had obscure costumes. When I was 11, I went as Nat King Cole.
In blackface?
No, I was just croon Ramblin' Rose.
And did you have like some friends who were like the head of the network that would then cancel you?
I went,
Sorry,
yeah.
but the South, they're
I
all
went
up
as
in
Louis,
arms.
I went as Louis Prima.
Oh my God.
I went
These
as
are
the Warren Report one.
That's what I hate. When you now that because I have kids and I have to deal with kids on Halloween. The one thing I don't like is children whose Halloween costume is about how clever their parents are.
Yeah.
I'm the deficit.
Yeah.
You know, I'm John Boehner's inability to control his caucus. Bite me.
Yeah.
my favorite one, because we do get so many
Cody.
kids and we get a lot of teenagers not in costume, but we do get,
And clearly hobos.
and clearly they're all homos. But my favorite were 3 kids who came a couple of years ago, and they came as blind people, and one was facing the door, one was facing that way, and one was facing
That's
that way,
hilarious.
holding their bags out, and I could not stop laughing. And I was like,
my
"Yeah,
gosh.
you win, gentlemen."
Blindness is
And
funny.
yeah, because they gave it a shot, right? I mean,
That was- I remember one year we were all back from trick or treating, and it was like 10 o'clock, and we're all like have all our candy on the floor, and it was just a knock on the door, and there was like clearly like some 10:30 on a Halloween, on like a Tuesday, like 18-year-old guy, trick or treat. Are you gonna rape us?
I was just hoping for a candy bar.
Trick or treat. Can I stay here for a while?
Yeah, these kids were clearly 14 or 15.
Do you have any? It'd be great as a shrimp cocktail. That would actually be even better.
Or, these two are terrifying.
It's a great bowl of stuffed animals for Halloween.
Have you guys read either of these? Rachel Rising.
I know. I like the cover art of Rachel Rising.
Yeah, Rachel Rising. Terry Moore.
Terry Moore, former Howard Hughes paramour. Terry Moore.
I don't think so. I think it's a man. But it's whatever it is, it's scary. It's about spooky. It's pretty, and it's black and white line drawing.
I like the black and white.
And then Lock and Key. This is what's his face? Stephen King's son, Joe Hill.
Oh, Joe Hill.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I like that then.
And that these are both super scary, and yet I can read them not before bed, but I can read them, and because they're really well written, and for some reason, and they're all murdery and spooky, and they don't bug me too bad. And
Have you ever read any like the Brian Michael Bendis, like Goldfish?
I read
They're in the, there's
I've read a lot of Bendis, but I've
they're
Powers
about like the Black Dahlia murder, and those are great. Those are also black and white.
I read something he wrote about moving to Hollywood and trying to sell something. That was very terrifying.
Scary.
Yeah, that was scary in a different way.
So films don't generally scary movies you just can't do. I mean,
they scare me.
They scare you too much.
Too much.
Yeah.
You can't.
April Richardson will not see a scary movie.
I think the last one I saw was Silence of the Lambs. And I had made
intense,
and I made a deal with this other comic. I said, I'm going to pick, she said, you pick the movie this week, I'll pick the movie next week. She knew I hated scary movies, and I picked, Defending Your Life, which is a fantastic
Very
movie.
scary.
Nobody doesn't like that movie. The next week.
Where's the third act? Very scary.
And then she picks, Silence of the Lambs. And it was packed and I couldn't get out and we were in the middle and she thought it was hilarious. But and it's very well done, Silence of the Lambs.
Have you seen Jaws?
Oh yeah, the original Jaws.
I saw Jaws probably 10 years ago.
Jaws
and
is
I didn't
scary.
mind it because it was rubbery. And because I could see his rubbery jaws up
It's
on
so
the,
funny. It's really funny that you say that. I have a very good friend who's 25, and showing them Jaws, they're like, "Oh my god!"
Really?
You know, and it's like, it's just like
Wow.
their eyes are so sophisticated now.
They can
Like,
see.
how can I have that?
You know
That
what shocked
movie-
me? When we were doing your podcast and we had Jonah Ray on there, and
Yeah.
we sent him to see, because I love, speaking of vampire movies,
Right.
the movie Near Dark. Do you know that movie?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Near
Oh,
Dark's
yeah.
amazing.
Great
It's
film.
sort of like the darker version of sort of like The Lost Boys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Much
Yeah.
more sober, a lot of people from Aliens in it, and it's Katherine Bigelow, one of her
Right.
earlier movies. And it's really great, and we showed it to our friend Jonah, and he thought it was silly. And I was surprised, but he likes Lost Boys, which is terrible.
Right. Right.
I mean, there's no Jaws when I saw that. Man, that was one of the most intense films I saw.
Yeah.
Granted, I
No,
saw it
it's
at that
I think
time
it
when I
still
was young,
holds
but
up. I think
me
it's still
too.
good.
Yeah.
It held up as a great, it's a great thriller.
It's a
I thought
more thriller.
And what
Yeah.
I just think the weird thing about The Lost Boys is that Joel Schumacher made a movie with boys in the title.
I thought that The Lost Boys was sort of Stand By Me on motorcycles, is what it felt like.
It's
That's
very.
giving it too much credit, I think.
It might be a little too much credit.
People, I gotta tell you that people. It's just one of those things that people love that movie.
Right.
They
It's also
love
like,
that movie.
It's all like it's a movie that is made by someone who doesn't like horror movies.
It's like
it's
the
like a-
Breakfast Club.
Yeah.
It's just a touchstone for people.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you had
think
to
they
have
liked
seen it
because
in a
was
certain.
on.
I think, Joel. This is
Sometimes,
knowing Joel Schumacher,
as you do,
which I do,
right?
and he is the nicest guy you'd ever meet.
That's cool.
He is as nice a man as you could meet. Joel has made a movie in every genre. He has made everything.
That's true. I guess he has.
And
What's his romantic comedy?
he's I'm sure he made it.
I will Google.
I could,
yeah,
I'm sure.
he has those.
Maybe
and,
Lost Boys
uh,
line notes.
Turned out that way.
yeah,
to be a romantic comedy.
yeah, and he
Did he make the Gilmore Girls? I feel like Schumacher.
I don't think he did anything. But no, he's, it's an interesting story, ironically, involving the Lost Boys. I went to see a friend of mine on set, who had built some of the ice sculptures for Batman and Robin. And I was on the lot and I just went over to see it,
right?
To see him and to see the set. And Joel Schumacher was directing George Clooney. And it was literally like a sketch. It was like, George, you're Batman. Gotham is your town. Mr. Freeze has taken it away from you, and you're not going to let him, but you're only going to show him with your eyes. Action. I mean, it was just crazy. And flew back to Video Village on a pink jetpack. And I was just doing this kind of funny party gag bit.
Right.
And my manager went, just like, shut me up. Joel's a great guy. I was like, no, I know, but he's a great guy. Joel's a great guy. Okay. And what I didn't know is that Joel basically gave my manager his start in the business.
Oh, okay.
So my manager.
So no fun making.
No fun making.
Okay.
My manager, we go over to his house for Christmas Eve. He has a bunch of people over. He sits me next to Joel Schumacher.
Okay.
And within 11 minutes, you're just like, you are the greatest guy I've ever met.
Right.
I want to make you a meal. You're going to come to my house. I'm going to make you a meal. And then, and then my manager was telling me that he was a PA on Lost Boys. And he was going to be a PA and work his way up, be a writer and director. And then one night from Warner Brothers, the executives flew up because it was shot in Santa Cruz. And the executives from Warner Brothers flew up in a private jet, visited the set, got back in the car, flew home. And my manager, who's like running around with like a belt with 80 kinds of duct tape on it, he was just like, I want that job. And ended up getting it.
Yeah.
But I mean, on the other hand, with Joel Schumacher, we'll move on. But like,
I'm not defending the movies.
No. I understand that. But we used to do this radio show in San Francisco, Alex Bennett show, and he had Joel Schumacher on. And so before Joel comes on, I'm talking about how much I hate Lost Boys because I'm a jerk. And so he's asking me, Alex is asking me why I don't like it. And I go, well, there's so many problems. But like, for example, here's one. The vampire at the end gets killed with an antler. And you're following vampire lore all the way through. And then all of a sudden now it's an antler that kills him. And I go, then that's bullshit. That's just lazy, stupid screenwriting. So then he goes, oh, well, here's Joel. Why don't you ask him to his face?
What a dick!
Yeah.
Nice.
Wow, you're a dick. That guy's a dick.
Right
Bennett.
And it makes me say it all over
Yeah,
again.
but I'm sure he was.
He
gracious
he
as
was
all.
great. He was great, and it was funny. And I go, and of course, now I say it sheepish. And then and then the antler kills him, and I'm sorry. And so Alex goes, well, what do you say to that? He goes, hey, it's a movie. And then I'm like, boy, that kind of makes me mad.
Talk to me about vampire lore. Is it not okay to kill him with an antler?
If you're making a movie where you from the beginning,
you have to set your rules.
Yes.
Okay.
You can't just say that it's this one thing and then suddenly switch
Did they say it had to be a wooden stake but previously, or
that's
that's canon? Okay, fair enough. All right.
And it's really interesting how that stuff works. I remember my ex-wife was Alan Ball's agent, and then later worked at HBO when and like basically packaged True Blood to sell to HBO. And then as they were selling it, became the person at HBO whose job was to buy it.
Oh.
So she,
well.
So we're very close with Alan, and he was over our house. Yes, he's a lovely guy. And he was over our house, and I was like, so what are you doing? What's your next thing? And he goes, well, I'm doing this show called True Blood. It's about vampires. And I was like, oh, really? And he goes, yeah, I don't know that much about it, and about the world, but I love the books. About these books. I was like, well, what do you want to know? And I go, well, tell me about it. And I was like, well, what about the fangs? He goes, no, the fangs are just going to have them like kind of click down, like when they need them. And I'm like, no, Alan, you can't do that. And like, I literally went up.
Retractable?
Yeah.
Okay.
Like, you can't do that, Alan. And I went upstairs and I got like all these books that I had, like the McFarlane books on the Universal Horrors and David Scowl's book, The Monster Show. And then I read these. That's all you need to know. And like, I'm sure I never read them.
Are they
made
lore
up his own
books
stuff.
that you're talking about?
Well, they're just like, movie books.
I'll ask after. Okay.
And he clearly ignored me and had a giant hit.
Well, and to defend him, like,
well, I'm not attacking him.
Well, you kind of no, I'm no. But I would.
She is my ex-wife.
I am a big fan of the show. I love the show.
Okay.
And it is, and it works for me because before they do anything, they set up a whole sort of platform of like, these are the rules. They can, crosses don't bother them. And so they set it all up and they stick to it. And I don't mind the fangs coming out because it's different. It's something I haven't seen before.
It's sort of like a less heterosexual version of Glee.
It is campy,
right?
But it is consistently campy all the way through.
I've never seen it, but it feels shiny and noodly, right? A lot of nudes.
There's some nudes,
and then everyone's very shiny and hairless.
There's some man flesh, there's some lady flesh, but,
right, but
hey,
no hair, right?
There's man flesh and grudging lady flesh.
Yeah.
All right.
There's some lady flesh.
Yeah.
All right. Well, but okay. So what are the people want to read? That's what Rangers of the Dork Forest like to do. They like to read a book. What are these books?
Scary book, I Am Legend by Richard Matheson. Scare the shit out of you. Mm-hmm. The book that inspired Stephen King.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Okay.
The book.
By
the way, that's a very good author for people who don't know. Stephen King.
How do you spell that?
With a PH.
I just bought one of his books because you told me to buy
11/22/63.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, it's
that
phenomenal.
I haven't read yet.
Oh, it's phenomenal.
But another
He's so
Matheson
good.
book, Hell House.
Yeah, The Legend of Hell House.
Which is they made into a movie, which is actually pretty damn faithful to the book, called The Legend of Hell House.
Richard Matheson also
great haunted house movie.
Richard Matheson also wrote the script for The Night Stalker.
That's correct.
That's right.
And the Twilight Zone episode Nightmare at 20,000 Feet.
Oh. Yeah, Twilight.
He wrote everything.
Great genre stuff.
He wrote about like a third of the.
Yeah, he really did.
Yeah, he really did.
He unfortunately just passed away, just like
he just
last
did
year,
recently.
or just a few months ago.
And apparently,
was he killed by vampires? How did he die?
I don't know.
No, but
Maybe
before
he'll
he
come
died,
back.
he was investigating that Forrest J. Ackerman, who was the sort of the godfather of Famous Monsters of Filmland magazine. Apparently, I guess Forey's haunting them. So.
Oh, dun dun dun!
Check that out.
Really?
Yes,
Wow.
that's a real thing. That there's a documentary.
Why would he haunt Richard Matheson? I would think he would haunt Heidi Saha.
Yeah,
There's a reference.
Yeah.
This is just for me and Matt and John.
All right, feel free to Google those names, people.
The Heidi Saha story I'm gonna tell on a future Dana Gould hour.
Okay.
It is mind-boggling. The Heidi Saha story.
How do you spell Saha?
S-A-H-A. Hard to believe. You know who's obsessed with her is who really reminded me of it and can't get over how crazy it is Dan Clowes.
Oh yeah.
Who writes 8 Ball, yeah.
Yeah. It's sort of
the guy who writes 8 Ball?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's Pretty Baby-ish. Let's just say.
Yeah. Not A Pretty Baby, but the movie Pretty Baby.
Yeah.
What movie's that? Guess what? I've been watching Overboard over and over and over again for the past 40 years.
With Roddy McDowell?
That's not entirely true.
That's Kurt Russell, right?
It is
Russell,
Kurt Russell.
Goldie
I
Hawn,
like Kurt Russell.
and Roddy McDowell.
Yeah.
And Roddy
That's
McDowell,
right.
who was amazing.
My wife loves that movie.
There's no reason not
It's
to
a great movie. I saw it on a plane and I loved it.
Right. It's a perfect movie for a plane.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. It's and
You throw that on with Uncle Buck, forget about it.
forget about it. That's a day and a half.
Or my dog,
done.
My dog Skip. Saw that in a plane.
Oh, that's
bawled my eyes out on an airplane.
Homeward
But
Bound.
you liked it though. Yeah.
I did, but when Skip can't jump up on the bed anymore,
I don't even want to think
forget it.
about that.
That is a.
Yeah.
Are there let's another genre. Animals. Cujo? Are there animals?
Like animal horror?
Yeah.
Bad horror.
I'm a big fan of like 70s horror, and there's definitely a whole genre of when nature attacks kind of movies
Yes.
from the 70s.
Oh, really?
Did Willard kind of kick that whole thing off, you think?
I don't know if Willard did. Possibly.
Willard
Willard is a classic.
It's a rat.
Jaws is a part of that.
Yes, absolutely, yeah.
Okay.
But like Frogs is a great example. Frogs.
I will see your frogs, and I will raise you Night of the Lepus.
Night of the Lepus. We actually talked in depth about Night of the Lepus on one episode of Monster.
Giant bunny rabbits.
Giant bunnies.
Wow.
Yeah,
Giant bunny rabbits.
doesn't get any goofier than that.
Straight.
Completely
Yeah.
straight.
DeForest Kelly.
Forrest Kelly,
Rory
Forrest
Calhoun.
Whitman.
Stewart
Stuart
Whitman.
Whitman.
Janet Leigh from Psycho. She went from Psycho to Night of the
All-star
Lepus.
cast
You know why? Because
and
she had to
bunnies.
work.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You gotta work.
Exactly.
Everybody has a balloon payment.
You know what? There was a lot of Royal Shakespearean actors on the original Doctor Who.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, that's kind of a classic, like an anti-classic.
You were saying
Food of the Gods.
The
Food of the
70s.
Gods.
Yeah.
Again,
yeah,
with
Food
the,
of the Gods. Yeah, Food of the Gods, giant animals
Yeah,
also.
regular animals just crawling across miniature sets.
Right.
Yeah, which is
with William
great.
Shatner. It always people
Oh,
in
no,
Star
that's
Trek.
Marco Gortner.
Yeah.
Shatner is also in Food of the
He's in,
Gods.
he's in Kingdom of the Spiders.
I'm sorry, you are right.
Yeah.
You are right.
Day of the Animals, isn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of the granddaddy
Leslie
of them.
Nielsen.
It's like the ozone layer has been depleted, so all the animals in nature start going crazy.
Yeah.
So there's like these campers in the California wilderness who get stuck out in the wilderness and just attacked by everything. But then eventually actually starts to affect the humans too.
Right.
And so Leslie Nielsen kind of goes crazy and starts attacking the women, and he has a fight with a grizzly bear.
Yeah, he fights a grizzly
which is
bear.
fantastic. It's awesome.
Oh my God, that's
And then, which brings
hilarious.
us to Prophecy.
Oh yes,
yeah, mutated
Prophecy.
bear.
Yeah.
I kind of like Prophecy.
Prophecy came out. Prophecy was billed as Jaws on land.
Yeah. Killer mutant bear.
Although Grizzly is kind of
Grizzly
similar.
was Jaws on
You're
land.
right. But yeah. Then
Prophecy
Prophecy, directed by John Frankenheimer of all people.
Yeah,
yeah.
gotta work.
Yeah,
It is.
exactly.
I've been alerted that I should be mentioning that get people excited to tip and win. First place, a 10-minute private podcast with me, Jackie Cation. Welcome to the Dork Forest. You're seeing a live streaming Dork Forest right now on Laughster.com. Laughster.com, brought to you by Laughster. Anyway, second place is a personalized horror movie themed Vine and a signed Dork Forest t-shirt. You get to pick one of the 3 Dork Forest t-shirts. That'll be exciting. And then third place is a horror movie themed mystery grab bag. And you can have a Dork Forest t-shirt in that one too. Just tell me which one you want. There's, the Dork Forest ones. And then there's the Ranger of the Dork Forest one. Yeah, it's great. Anyway, go to the JackieCation.com and look at those. But those are the 3 things that you can tip and win. And, we of course have Dana Gould from the Dana Gould Hour. And we have Matt and Sean from Monster Party. And we're talking about monster movies and horror movies. And now we're back. Still talk. Is there a Daddy Longlegs one? That's what I picture. A Daddy Longlegs
There
in
will be.
it.
Daddy Longlegs.
Yeah, actually,
That's
yeah.
fantastic.
I found a Daddy Longlegs in my linen closet, and I freaked out. I overreacted. Anyway,
Yeah.
So
Frogs is pretty horrifying. I'm sort of phobic against frogs. I have a frog and snake phobia. Squirm is also pretty
Worms.
pretty
What year?
gruesome.
Attacking
76.
Like sandworms,
Killer
big
worms.
kind of worms with with teeth.
with
Yeah.
teeth.
Yeah.
There's Squirms.
That's a
There's
good
also
one.
Stanley, about a guy's killer rattlesnake.
Yeah, his
Oh.
pet snake Stanley. Yeah.
All rattlesnakes are killer rattlesnakes.
Well,
Right.
if you don't,
There's a serial killer rattlesnake.
That's
the
what
thing
the
about
pitbull
thing
people
about
say.
frogs
Exactly.
that's the thing about frogs always got me is like the poster is 10 times cooler than the movie.
that's what you want. The movie.
As a kid, the poster is literally an oversized frog about the size of a horse
With a hand.
eating a guy's hand hanging. So you go to the movie. I'm going to see a giant frog eat a guy. That's not what the movie is.
Oh, they never.
wait.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is-
It's just normal size.
What are
frogs.
the most disappointing? What are the most disappointing of?
Well, I don't know if it's disappointing because
It's
Well,
yeah.
I mean,
Disappointing.
I knew that-
Disappointing movies have to be movies that you think are gonna be good,
yeah, yeah.
and then you go in
And
and
you
you're
find
just
out.
and you're like, holy shit!
That's a good
yeah,
example.
Right.
Yeah, for me, it was, yeah.
Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes
Oh,
God,
yeah, that's a great
don't get
one.
us started.
is the King Kong of disappointing movies.
Oh, how
Really
about King
is.
Kong?
Peter Jackson's King Kong is fantastic.
yeah,
is it?
I like,
Yeah.
like that
Yeah,
a lot.
My favorite.
Tim Burton's Dark Shadows
Yeah.
gives Tim Burton's Planet of the Apes a run for
Oh
its
my
money.
god!
Oh,
Yeah, I
jeez.
think that trumps Planet of the Apes as being even
Okay, because
worse.
that was the vampire one, right?
Yeah.
With
Yeah,
yeah. He,
I
No,
can't-
it
I
wasn't a
can't completely-
vampire one. I don't know what it was.
yeah.
I
And again, like, who
I
was that
don't know
movie-
what it was.
Who was that movie made for? Too like it
Tim
wasn't.
Burton, I think.
But it's based on a
At one
cult,
point,
a cult soap opera.
It
horror
becomes
film,
a movie about
show.
canning. At one point, there's a giant subplot about canning fish.
It is.
It's so bizarre.
This-
Like
No, it's not even the scariest canning movie. No.
no, what's a
I talked
scarier
myself
canning?
out of it.
Yeah.
I talked myself out of it.
Is there a movie
That was
that has
the,
canning?
There's another
Columbo
canning movie.
two-parter, The Bumblebee Murders.
Yeah. There was the movie Canning from the 30s.
And Cannery Row,
Cannery Row.
which was
yeah.
also very
that was also
good.
very
With Nick Nolte and Katherine Hepburn.
terrifying.
And was Katherine Hepburn ever in a scary movie? African Queen.
On Golden Pond.
Bob Hope, but
And all Bob Hope movies are terrifying.
The Philadelphia story is pretty scary.
yeah,
In terms, if you're afraid of commitment.
it's noir.
Right.
It's romance noir.
Right. Now, does noir...
Screwball noir.
Does noir... When will that happen? Will Ed Brubaker get involved? And
Screwball noir.
Wow.
But
Wasn't
if
that
we're
Dick-
gonna go,
Dick
if,
Tracy?
if you want to go back, this is a producer who was sort of the alternative to
William
Universal
Castle.
Horrors. Well, no, that's more of a-
Edgar Ulmer?
I was going to say Val Lewton.
Val Lewton, who used Edgar Ulmer as a director.
Yes, that's correct. And did movies like I Walked with a Zombie,
What year?
Seventh
What years?
Victim.
Cat
40s.
people.
Okay.
Yeah, this is the 40s. And they were, what were interesting about those movies is that, Universal had already kind of cornered the market when it came to monsters. And this was more psychological. This was more like they did the original Cat People, where you don't really see the cat people. It's all sort of implied. And they were very effective, very subtle, and always wonderfully shot. So almost any, Val Lewton movie, I would say. But like The Seventh Victim is probably one of my favorites. And,
Yeah, that's a great one.
and,
The Seven
I just saw The
Victims.
Leopard Man.
What
for
is
the
the
first
Seventh
time. It's
Victim?
great.
That's
No, I
great.
have the box set. What is the Seventh Victim?
It's like a witch cult, kind of, right?
Yeah.
Or like it's like
This girl's sister sort of goes missing.
Oh,
And
I
she
used to
goes
see
looking
that.
for her and finds out that she's part of this witch cult.
they're like this very polite kind of like upper
Yeah,
class
upper
witch,
crust witch cult.
and the lead actress is Kim Hunter, actually.
Kim Hunter, that's
Oh, I
right.
gotta see
Yeah,
that.
very young Kim Hunter.
Why did my voice go up? Oh, I gotta see that.
Because you're happy for the first time?
I am. I think so. I found my smile. It was in Billy Crystal's saddlebag.
right. Okay. So,
It's a great horror movie. The original Ringu.
Yes.
Oh yes,
Ringu.
Ringu, not
Jap-
the Ring, the Japanese one.
Yeah, the Japanese one.
Oh,
And there's a Korean horror movie called Infection. One of the
I've never
best
seen it.
horror movies I've ever seen.
Oh wow.
what's in
A lot of great Japanese,
pandemic-y?
Korean. Yeah, it's great.
Oof.
The Infection's fantastic.
And then there's
Tale of Two Sisters, very good.
I don't know that one.
Oh God, A Tale of Two Sisters is
Yeah,
great.
okay.
Ooh.
Now I'm.
You should come up to Falcon's Lair. I'll lay it on you.
What do we do?
That sounded very suggestive.
Falcon's Lair.
That's my new house.
That's what
It's
he
oh, is
calls-
it?
Now that I'm single, come on up to
Called
Falcon's
Falcon's
Lair.
Falcon's
Lair.
Lair is what he calls his man parts.
Yeah.
Irie.
Come on up to Falcon's Lair. Cut to, this is my daughter's room.
This room
My other daughter's room.
I've turned it
My fridge, I have water and baking soda, and I put my toothpaste in it. I don't know why. I've got please.
You are loved.
I'm
you
love from a
build a
distance.
Halloween maze where it's just mirrors where you
It's a circle.
can't look at you.
I can't see me.
Would you guys ever want to have a haunted house at your house?
Always year round.
yeah.
We had a
Sorry.
we have a Halloween sleepover every year. We did it last Saturday.
And he has one for his kids too.
Right.
We had nine kids under 10 years old at our house, and we went out to a really wonderful kid-friendly haunted house in Sherman Oaks
Oh, good.
called Boney Island.
Oh, okay. In Sherman Oaks called Boney Island.
Yeah, not Coney with a
With a B.
Have you ever been to Boney Island?
No, huh?
Have you ever
Oh,
been
we're going on the way home.
Not Scary Farm?
Yeah, of course.
Not Scary
Yeah.
Farm. I made it through 4 of the haunted houses, and then I said, I have to
good,
go
though.
breathe in some fake ice
Yeah.
smoke, and stay away from the dolls.
Yeah, a lot of dolls, a lot of clowns, a lot of homeless people in werewolf
Did
masks.
you get the urine, the fake urine smell?
Oh,
They do that at the Universal a lot.
Yeah, the fake poo-poo smell.
yeah. Well, whatever it was over.
They're all going on
Too
as
many.
we speak.
I can't get
I
jumped
feel like
at.
I should be there.
can't get jumped at by actors too many times, and a lot of just saws hanging from rusted saws. Plus, I'm playing a video game right now, and it's not a video game. It's just one of those stave off Alzheimer's hidden object games on Facebook called Hidden Shadows.
Okay.
And Hidden Shadows has a dead body in most of the scenes. It's a murder mystery thing, and there's usually just I'm following a serial killer at the time, for Hidden Shadows, and he has bodies hanging from the ceilings, just just bleeding out, and it's just horrifying.
Well,
And
that's
they're
why they're hanging.
Find the golf clubs. Oh, pardon me, click.
Find the golf clubs. That's hilarious.
Find the empty glass. Pink. I mean, it's just, there's a pink rose in the background somewhere. Where is it? Oh, it's over by the severed hand. And
it almost seems like, though, from the stuff that you describe, like the comics that you read and the games, that you're really on the precipice. Like
ready to embrace it more.
I think we could turn you, giving you the right things.
I think I think the thing,
like lead you in.
The Thing is something I should see.
Yeah, definitely.
And then those Evil Deads is going to be the go.
The original Halloween too. I would definitely check out
original
the original
Halloween. Very little blood.
Yeah, it's not. It's a pretty much bloodless movie. Yeah,
okay.
It's not like Friday
Yeah,
the
the original
13th.
Halloween's fantastic.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
all right.
it's
Well,
a
as long
scary,
as I can do
spooky movie.
laps. I mean, the thing is if it's on the television, the tension gets to me. I just got to get up and do a lap, kind of work off some of the energy. And are you going to show a movie at your Halloween party?
I am. Yes.
Which one?
I am borrowing a print from a friend of mine called Curse of the Demon.
Who's in that?
Great movie. Dana Andrews.
Okay.
And it's sort of, I guess, loosely based on like Aleister Crowley.
Witchcraft film.
Yeah.
Okay.
About this sorcerer who puts a curse on
Runes.
anybody who messes with him, he puts a curse on and sends this demon after him. This great demon, especially for the time.
Demon added later.
Yeah.
Demon added later, and I think it's a nice addition.
Yeah.
Demon added later.
Yeah, they wanted it.
The Dana Gould story. Demon added later.
Just add demon.
Just add demon.
But
Okay.
really great.
Demon
And,
added later.
yeah, it's. I think you'll enjoy that one because the demon's great.
And it's sort of like, here we go. It's a little bit like Conjure Wife, too. Same sort of.
Feel, yes.
Yeah,
It's
feel,
a great
yeah.
double feature.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
In
is.
fact, I think I saw it. Another great one. Well, Conjure Wife is a Fritz Leiber story that they made into a movie called Burn Witch Burn.
Right.
Another
Okay.
great film.
Yeah, which is also very good.
Oh, very
Okay.
psychological too.
Yeah, psychological.
Yeah.
Later made into a TV series called Bewitched.
It's a feminist film.
Hello,
is it? A very
Darwood.
feminist
It
film?
is, kind of.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
interesting.
what's the political background to some of this stuff? What are the B plots? Is there, you know how there's always like a political agenda sometimes with B movies? Like Dirty Dancing, keep abortion legal, right? Footloose, censorship is bad. Blue Crush is, Blue Crush is, True Happiness is sponsored corporate sponsorship. But I mean, there's always like there's always a message, right? There's always something, what, in Burn Witch Burn, like what's the, raise your children to be lawyers?
White Christians.
White Christians.
Yeah.
It's best to be born white
Yeah.
and middle class.
I think there is sort of a feminist view in that because in that story, what you really find out is that kind of the women are really in charge.
Mm-hmm.
There's this illusion that guys have free will, but it's wives.
it's like this disbelieving professor who's all about logic and reality, and his wife is totally superstitious and thinks that his life is being controlled by witchcraft
and protects herself with witchcraft.
She's trying to protect him from the dark forces. He doesn't believe any of it. He burns all her talismans. It's like,
Now
this is
she's
bullshit.
vulnerable.
Dun,
And
dun,
it's like,
dun.
and then shit starts happening, but you don't know, is it because of that or not?
And
It's
what's
cool.
great too is that like you find out in the original book,
Right.
is Conjure Wife, is that you find out that all women are taught witchcraft. And that's the subtext of it that women are really.
I'm gonna test that one.
It's when they're handed your first tampon. And they say, please, and you think it's some sort of applicator instructions, but it's actually witchcraft.
When they meet their lawyer, that's when they.
But I definitely think the whole genre has to have like secret messages of
Some do, I think,
anti
yeah.
sort of.
I'm always a little worried of trying to read that stuff in when it isn't like sometimes it's just
It's not
we're
really
gonna
there.
scare you.
Okay.
I'll tell you a great example of how that stuff is misinterpreted. When I was in college, I took an avant-garde film class, and we were shown the original King Kong,
Okay.
1933. And there's a scene in the movie where Kong wrecks the L train in New York. And our professor says, no, this was actually there was a workers' strike in New York, and this is a very socialistic, this is Kong, the worker, stopping, the primitive force, breaking production, and this was a direct comment on that strike, and I'm like, oh, boy, they're really. And then years later, I'm watching the laser disc with the with the analog track of the director's commentary, and they're interviewing the guy that wrote the movie, and he just goes, "This is Kong destroying the L. I used to live in a building right by the L, and it would wake me up every day at 4 a.m. And I thought, if I ever make a movie, I'm going to have somebody destroy the L train."
That's great.
Right. It had nothing to do with them.
Nothing to do with anything.
Along those lines, there's a great documentary about The Shining that just came out.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Room
327?
237.
237. And it's all these people with their
crackpot theories,
crazy ideas,
insane theories.
What's really going on in The Shining?
Yeah, reading the most craziest things into the movie,
yeah, like conspiracy things like that. That Kubrick is trying to tell you that he actually faked the moon
Apollo. Or it's all about the Indians and us taking the land from the Indians and
taking the land from the Indians.
Yeah. Or like
interesting. It's like What's a Beautiful Mind? It's that kind of like twisted. You know, there's not anything there, but I can hook up enough little circumstances.
Right.
To make it seem like it.
Well,
crazy.
Charles Manson thought the White Album was about him. He thought the Beatles were talking to him.
That's right.
When it's clearly about me.
When it was clearly he was talking to him.
When everybody knows the Beach Boys were talking to him.
You guys, this has been fascinating. Let me say we're pushing an hour and a half here, so I think it's been this has been super fun, Laughster people. Thank you very much, Laughster.com.
Hey!
Thank you very much for tuning into a live streaming
Laughster?
the Dork Forest. Yeah, Laughster, Laff.
Laughster.
I would have spelled it Laughf.
I like
STERR. .com. Oh, it was already taken. Oh, you would have spelled it correctly. Fair enough. And
but it has an umlaut.
Right, and some sort of accent aigu. Yes. So let's plug some stuff. This will drop in a couple of weeks in November. What are you doing for Thanksgiving? No, I don't know. But so the Dana Gould Hour.
The Dana Gould Hour podcast. My special's on Showtime in November called I Know It's Wrong. And please watch me on Mob City starting in December on TNT.
Mob City, neat. TNT. Awesome. Matt Weinhold?
We also have our podcast and YouTube show, Monster Party. And when is this going to go out? Because
probably it'll be 2 weeks, early November.
In 2 weeks,
just in time for Halloween.
Just in time for Halloween.
Well, a couple weeks ago, I was on a NBC special called Why We Love Vampires.
Oh, that speaks to you.
Around the time of it's sort of promoting the new Dracula series.
Okay.
And so doing
it's
that.
Also promoting the merger of William Morris and Endeavor.
And that's all I talk about on the special. I get into it.
You get in. So where was that aired?
That's going to be NBC.
NBC. So I bet you they can see it on NBC.
In the past.
But right now, the people who are watching right now,
oh my God, it's Friday.
It's going to happen Friday.
Friday.
That's it.
What we have here is an artist painting a picture of an artist, painting a picture of the artist.
How about you, Sean
explaining
Sheridan?
time travel.
Just Monster Party. Just check out Monster Party.
The state of infinite regression
on YouTube and podcast. We would do a whole thing on Monster Palooza, the monster horror convention that they do out here. That's like our latest one, which is great.
Mm-hmm. And we got one right. Actually, our one right now is that scared the hell out of me. And we go through a lot of this kind of territory.
Movies.
Scariest movies. And I also got a CD that you can buy on CD Baby.
Such a great CD.
And wow, I don't know. I guess and our podcast. Once again, you can find it on Libsyn or you can go to Facebook.
MattWeinhold.com, DanaGould.com, JackieCation. MonsterPartyTV.com, JackieCation.com, DorkForest.com, Laughster.com. You guys, thanks a lot for tuning in, and take care of each other out there. Spooky.
Trick or treat.
Trick or treat.
Happy Halloween, Jackie.
Happy Halloween, you guys. I've learned a lot.
Yeah,
I learned a lot.
I feel like I want to go buy you the thing.
What am I giving you that you haven't seen?
I don't know.
It's over Falcon's Lair.
Am I still recording? Please stop recording.
Oh,
Well, that show was awesome. Let's do the credits. Patrick Brady, he fixes the audio every week. He also does the teaser videos on YouTube. So Patrick Brady is an awesome guy, and I thank him for his work. Mike Rickberg sang the song you heard at the beginning, composed and sang it with his girlfriend Sarah. He's going to sing in about a heartbeat for the Mexican Hat Dance. And Vilmos fixes my website, JackieCation.com. So support him and his work. Thanks a lot, you guys. Take care out there. Bye.
My hat, my hat, my hat. They're dancing around my hat. My hat, my hat, my hat. Well, what do you think of that? If it looks like a Mexican hat dance and it sounds like a Mexican hat dance, it's most likely a Mexican hat dance. So take off your hat and let's dance.
Yay! Oh my God. Why don't we just call that as the end of the show?